Hi, my name is Mike,
And I'm Richard.
and welcome to our online presentation of our capstone project. Our project was Last Marble Long Jump Chinese Checkers online. Our client is Ray Vancouvering. Ray is a Chinese checkers enthusiast. The picture on the right shows a game of Chinese checkers with 6 players. The goal of the game is to get your marbles to the other side. So all of the blue marbles need to get where all of the red marbles currently are. And the jumping aspect is that you can make jumps over other marbles. Otherwise, your marbles can only move one space at a time. The gray things on the board are obstacles. You have the choice to add these to a game to make the game progress faster. Since there are more objects to jump over, you can get to the other side much quicker. Ray also hosts weekly Chinese checkers games in Grants Pass, Oregon. He owns the website lastmarble.com, which you can go to and play different variations of Chinese checkers. But there is a problem. You can only play the games on his website while all the players are sitting at the same computer. Ray wants people all over the world to be able to play Chinese checkers simultaneously. That's why we are implementing an online multiplayer of long jump Chinese checkers, so everyone around the world can play together.
For this project, our client wants his long jump Chinese checkers game that has been created by capstone teams over the years and is currently hosted on his website to have online multiplayer functionality. He wants to be able to invite his friends, family, and others around the world to play with each other in long-term games where players can make a move, leave, and come back when it's their turn, similar to Words with Friends. Our main goal was to implement this online multiplayer functionality. We had an existing code base made by last year's team that already had this mostly working, so we were able to start from something that was almost done. And getting it to work was mostly just a matter of setting up, hosting, and fixing bugs. As such, we consider this feature to be fully implemented. Sharing the game works in that the user can find and join games. We tried to implement a system of shareable links to invite people to games, but did not accomplish this goal. Account creation works, but we don't have much in the way of management. Created games would have empty slots filled with AI, or computer-controlled players that can make moves. This works if the user enables an option when making the game, but we didn't get to adding it as the standard behavior. Rejoining the game has been the biggest feature focus for the spring term on this project, allowing a player to leave a game in progress and come back to it later. This is a system with a lot of parts that doesn't work very well if all of the parts aren't working, which is unfortunately where we had to leave it. A list of games the user is currently playing has been implemented. However, without saving, this feature isn't of much use. Showing players what moves the other player did while they were gone is a feature that our client decided could be deferred because it didn't seem as useful after he thought about it. Each player would have a timer configurable by the game creator that will count down on their turn and replace them with an AI that makes moves for them when it expires. The configurable timer works, but does not actually do anything when it runs out. The Swamp is a variation of the game where obstacles can't be jumped over. The client requested this and another variation with randomized turn order each round, known as Who's First or Who's Next. Both of these were our lowest priorities, and we did not end up doing any work on them.
Partially implemented features. These are the features that we were able to only partially implement. Share game with other players. You can share the game with other players with the built-in chat functionality on the website, or by sharing the game name and optional password by email, text, or etc. We wanted to implement link sharing, so that in the email or text, you could just provide a link to the game and it would streamline the step of the user inputting the game and password themselves and just auto-join the game that was sent to you. Account creation and management. We added restrictions on account creation, making sure that an email was in fact an email and that a username was not already taken in the system. We also added proper login errors if an error was thrown when a user was trying to log in. We did not, however, implement any sort of account management, so there was no password reset. Move timer and replace inactive players with AI. There was an issue where the move timer would exponentially start to count too fast. We fixed that issue so that it would always count in real time. We were not able to implement having the AI make a move for the inactive player when the timer runs out, so the timer just sort of counts down and then resets. Leave and return to game. This was a big project for us. The entire game was living on all of the client's computers instead of living on the server and having the server make all of the decisions. We were able to save the board to the server, although this brought up a new issue where if you joined a game in progress, it always tried to start a new game. so we fixed it. Now when you join a game, it skips the new game phase and loads the saved board. One part that we were not able to finish implementing is saving whose turn it is. When you rejoin a game, the turn is always set back to player 1. Tools and technologies. These are the tools and technologies we used for this software. Starting with HTML and CSS, these are necessities for any website. Node.js and JavaScript are our main languages we use to create the software. Our main framework is Socket.io. The Socket.io framework allows for real-time, omnidirectional communication. We have a Linux server, which we have installed Node.js on in MongoDB. The Linux server acts as the web server for players to be able to access the software. Pug is an additional framework we used. Pug is kind of like the Linux version of HTML. It has shorter syntax and is more powerful. We used it specifically to display all available games and all of an individual user's current games. MongoDB is the database we used. MongoDB is a NoSQL database environment. Mongo stores data in flexible JSON-like documents that are then mapped to objects. This makes working with a database really easy by using the familiar dot syntax. And finally, we have chosen to use the Secure Sockets layer to secure our website. Hi everybody, welcome to version 2 demo of Long Jump Chinese Checkers online multiplayer. This is our home screen / login page to get into the web application. So we're going to register for a new account. Here I'm going to input a wrong value. I'm going to try to put my username in here. Alright, it shows us in a red box and a little pop-up. Please enter an email address. So let's go ahead and put an email address in here, and the red box will go away. Great, red box went away. Let's put a username in and a password. And then let's submit this form. Oh no, that username belongs to an existing account, so I can't use that username. So let's make a new one. So let's just add a 12 here and submit. Great, that one went through. So let's go ahead and log in. I'm Kunkel12 and my password. And submit, and that gets us in. So this is the inside of our new homepage for after people have logged in to the system. Let's work on creating a game and sharing that with someone. To everybody on the website that says, does anybody want to play a game? And we will wait for a response. We can see in the top of this that there is somebody else on the website. It includes you, so there's me and one other person. That's where the 2 comes from. Oh, this guy named Joe. Sure, I would. Let's do basic. Alright, so let's set up a room game in basic. Long Jump Chinese Checkers. We're going to call it Let's Play. Make sure basic. 2 players. And now I have to tell them the room name. So I'm going to say, okay, the room is called Let's Play. I can also add a wait time. The default is 5. That's in 5 minutes. I don't want to play with AI, and I'm also not going to set an optional password. I'll send that over to him, and then I'll click Create Room to start the game. Great, so this is like the loading screen for the game. We have to wait for everybody to join, the exact number of players that we picked. So we're just waiting for Joe to come and take the blue marble. There he is. Let's proceed to the game setup. I want to add some obstacles in, but obstacle placement belongs to player 2. Only player 2 can place obstacles. So I'm going to say, hey, let's add some obstacles. And hopefully he agrees that obstacles are fun to use, and he'll start to add some. Or he'll tell me no. Oh, there we go. I don't like those ones. Hopefully he takes those away. Oh, great. Those ones are good. I like those. Good. A nice circle in the center to get over. And great, we got little triangles everywhere. Okay, I think this is good. It doesn't look like he's adding any more, so I'm going to click Begin Play. And it is Blue's turn. Blue is first player. And he moves to a spot that's 1 away, so he can jump in later. I'm going to go over here, get ready to do some more jumps. I don't know what that one is. So we're just sort of playing right now. This is happening in real time. Joe's computer has seen the moves I'm making. He's seen the moves that I make as well. This move here leaves a spot open for me, so I can claim 1 back in home. And now I'm going to pretend like I just left for a little bit. I'm going to go back to the home screen, pretend I just logged in, and check my games to see the games that I'm playing. Great. So I see that I'm playing Let's Play. So let's go ahead and rejoin that room. So I'll type in Let's Play here. And then we did not set a password since they're optional. And so then I just click Join Room. Great. So this is the exact board that we just saw. It was saved to the server and reloaded. We can see that my marble is still in Blue's home, and it is back to Joe's turn. And so he can make another move. And I can make another move. And the game is not broken. The game works, which is lots of fun. This was our biggest implementation for this term, was getting the save and rejoin game to work. Just a basic overview of our UI again. We have 3 tabs. The My Games tab shows the logged in user's current games that they are playing. So you can see here that I'm in a game called Let's Play. The Join Room tab shows all of the games on the server that are happening. So we can see that there's a different room called Hello World. It's probably some computer scientists. And then there's Create Room. And this is what people use to create new rooms to play with more people.
Our primary use cases involve creating, using, and managing an account, creating a game and inviting other players to it, playing in that game together online, sending chat messages, and starting and leaving games to rejoin and resume them later. For the spring term, since we focused a lot on saving the game, we would be creating and joining a lot of games for testing. This made some annoyances a bit more noticeable and gave us more push to fix them, like error messages going to another page instead of being given inline, or the game creation not having default values for some required fields. Mike and I would meet once a week and discuss what we learned about the codebase we were given, how we could modify it to add our features in without rebuilding the whole thing, and what we would work on that week. In the winter, I've been doing most of the work that had to do with HTML and CSS, because I have a lot of experience with that, and fixing some bugs in the code, while Mike was doing most of the work on implementing the new features. In the spring, at first Mike focused on getting game saving to work, while I tried, unsuccessfully, to implement link sharing. About midway through, we realized how important yet difficult saving was truly going to be, so we both focused on that for the remainder of the term. Our Capstone experience has been a bit unique in that we started from an existing codebase compiled by different Capstone teams over the past several years. While this did save us a lot of work, it also introduced a lot of work as well. The game had already been integrated with basic networking capabilities, and even documentation on how to get it running on a server, which saved us a lot of time early on. However, to add new features, we had to spend a lot of time learning the code we were given, which rarely had helpful comments. We found plenty of functions and variables that were duplicated, misspelled, or sometimes both, with both spellings actually being used in different places. The code often weaves back and forth between files, and it took a long time to really nail down the general path that most inter-file communication was taking. Many variables were not given helpful or descriptive names, and in one situation I realized I had been confused by why something wasn't working because it was using a variable with a misleading name that was actually storing something very different. The relationship between the server and its clients was set up poorly, with each individual client being the authoritative source on the game state and sending this information to the server, rather than the server knowing everything and the clients just sending attempted moves. This created a lot of problems with saving because there was a lot of unnecessary back and forth of some actions, and the clients needed to agree with each other. We spent no time attempting to fix this because it would take a lot of development time to rewrite the system for no discernible front-end change. And to top this all off, nobody from the previous team responded to our attempts at communication, so we had to figure it out ourselves. In conclusion, this software allows our client, Ray, to be able to play long jump Chinese checkers with his friends and family online on any device from anywhere with an internet connection. This will both be enjoyable for a Chinese checkers enthusiast like him, but will also make it easier to get new people to play the game and keep it alive. This was certainly an interesting project with lots of ups and downs. Lots of time spent reading code rather than writing it, weeks straight with no progress at times, then weeks straight with slow breakthroughs. I'm a bit sad to leave it behind with so much left incomplete, and I hope the next group to pick it up can take it even further.
Thank you for watching our presentation. We hope you enjoyed watching and learning about Chinese checkers. It was a new area for the both of us. We wish everyone graduating the best of luck. Thank you for your time.